Okay, so just to kind of give you a little introduction into what this is, me and Mr. Mocha had this thing where we just talk, like we talk a lot, and we'll get on the phone and we'll get into this conversation, and it'll be like, hey, this would make a great podcast episode. But we never do anything about it. We just keep talking. And we always joke around and say, oh, we're missing all the good stuff. And when we try to address the topic later, it's not going to be the same because we said some of the stuff already, and we don't always remember what we said.
You don't retain it.
Right. We don't retain it. So what you're hearing today is, we started doing it again. And he pointed out, like, you see, we're doing it again. And it was kind of like we just got to the point where it was like, fuck it, let's record it. Like in the middle of our conversation, let's just hit record and
push the button.
Just keep on talking. So that's what you're hearing right now is just what he and I always do, having these conversations, and the topic will come up and, we'll just go into it and say, oh, we'll record later. Well, we're not doing it later this time. We're doing it right now. And that's what you're hearing. So this is live. This is on the fly. This is not rehearsed. This is just, we're bringing you into what we talk about. So, what was the topic we were just discussing?
I think we started. We were talking about reading the room. You were saying that.
So I've been having conversations recently with people, and you had brought up something where just people who struggle with reading the room. And by reading the room, would you agree that encompasses a lot? Like reading the room is not just reading what everybody is doing. It's reading the couple. It's reading her. It's reading him. It's reading the other people. It's reading the energy in the room, and what people are talking about and what people are doing and how people are responding to each other. How somebody may be responding to you.
Yeah.
And we've all had our moments where we didn't read a room as well as we wish we would have. I know I certainly have been. Yeah, I know I certainly have been guilty of it. And but for the most part, I really try to always be, in that mode where I'm reading the room. And I guess tossing it back to you, Mr. Mocha, if somebody were to ask you, okay, how do I read a room? What would your advice to them be? Like if you were trying to instruct someone on the finer points of reading the room.
So when you say reading the room, so when we say when I'm thinking of reading the room, I'm thinking about interaction with, a couple or female that you're interested in from my standpoint. So, I think couples, guys, everybody fail when they're interacting with a person, but they're not paying attention to that person or the things that are going on around them. So for me, I start with, I'm going to look at, if it's a couple, I'm looking at the couple. I'm looking at how they're interacting with one another. If I come up and say hi, introduce myself, I'm trying to gather, how did they respond to my approach? Okay. Generally with me, there's sometimes you may say, hi to the wife first because, walk up, hey, how you guys doing? And in certain situations, the wife will step right up. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I'll say hi and I'll make sure that I immediately introduce myself to him. Otherwise, the first thing is I'm going to introduce myself to the husband. Now, at this point, this is where the room reading begins. Because if it's depending upon their dynamics, they usually kind of have an order of operation. So there's some situation where the wife will take the lead. There's some situation where the husband will take the lead. But at that point, usually, someone will start the interaction. I want to try to see if I can figure that out. And the first few minutes of that conversation, I'm trying to figure out who I should be speaking to if they don't let me know. The next thing I'm looking at is their body language. If I'm talking to someone that I am interested in and, she's looking all over the place, she's turning away, she's, stepping back, if they're looking anxious, not nervous, some people get nervous when someone comes up to you who you're sexually interested in. But if they're looking like they want to go, I'm paying attention to that. If I'm speaking to her and she steps into my personal space, oftentimes that's an indication that she's comfortable with me. Or in a situation where I step into her personal space, if she retreats back, there's a reason for her retreat. Either she's retreating because she's not interested in me, she's retreating because my breath stinks, she's retreating because, she needs to make sure her husband is good with this. So I'm trying to read those things. Also, when we start having a conversation, depending upon the environment, if I'm at a hotel party or a lifestyle club and I say, hey, how are you? Yeah, I'm Mr. Mocha. I think your wife is gorgeous. At this point, you know my interest because of where we are. I get a thank you. I get a thank you and a look away like, oh my God. Then in my mind, okay, at this moment, it's not time. So oftentimes what I'll do if I don't feel like there's reception, I'll make my conversation very brief. And I will, before I walk away, I'll say, just to let you know, I mean, if you guys are interested at some point, I'd love to hang out with you guys later. So if you are, just let me know. And at that point, I leave. I walk away because depending upon where that couple is or what type of relationship they have, they may want to huddle up and decide if they're interested, if they're not interested. But at this point, I'm not staring in their face, waiting for an answer, making them uncomfortable. So when I'm thinking about reading room, I'm looking at all of these different things. How attentive is she when she's speaking to me? If she's a woman who's super shy, oftentimes in the lifestyle, you'll have some women who are lifestyle shy. Mm-hmm. And, them being lifestyle shy, you get the eyes down, smiling, rocking back and forth. And that, if you read in the room and her body language and what her husband is saying and what her husband is doing, that may be a sign that she's interested. Because I've seen some women who are shy, really shy when they're ready, when it's a person they're interested in. And I've watched that same woman who gets approached by someone she's not interested in, not look away, not look down, not look away. There's no rocking. There's just, she stiffens. She stiffens up and, it's kind of her, kind of turning her body sideways to you, so I'm trying to read all of these things to give me indications of, is this person's interested? Most of us fail when it's time to read the room because we're reading the room with our sexual organs. I see somebody who's super attractive. My dick wants that person, and now my dick is saying, oh yeah, she just took 4 steps back. She just wants you to chase her. No, motherfucker, she took 4 steps back because she's trying to end this conversation. If I observe her talking to a guy who she's clearly attracted to and she's touching his arm, she's touching his chest, and then she's talking to you and she's doing her best not to even breathe the same air you're breathing, but she's trying to be polite. That's what I mean when I say reading the room, because I'm reading the person or the people in front of me and paying attention to their behavior, their body languages, their tells that they're interested, and then also giving them the opportunity. Some couples, you say, hey, I really like, your wife is gorgeous. I love to chat with you guys. I love to play with her. If you're interested, oh, fuck yeah, let's go. All right, those are the easy ones. There's not much reading. Mm-hmm. There's not much, reading required with the flashing lights to the vagina, But, that's when I'm thinking of reading room, I'm looking at all of those things.
So this brings me to something else, and it was something else I was having a conversation with, because I had an event that I hosted over the weekend. So I was having some conversations with a couple of the guys there. And one of the things that we were talking about is, he's a lifestyle vet, is like, okay, like I've seen you at events and you're a lot like me, and like you flirt a lot, like very playful, very flirtatious and everything like that. But we know we don't play with all of the women that we flirt with.
No. Whoa, pimp juice. Speak for yourself. I do. Whoa. Hey, hell nah. Let me make this 100% clear. I am nice to everyone. I am friendly to everyone. But I only flirt with somebody I want to fuck. Like, and hey, maybe people mistakes being nice for being flirty, but no, absolutely not. I do not play that game because I don't want somebody doing it to me. I mean, don't come and rub your ass on me or touch my dick or, squeeze my bicep or touch my chest if you're not trying to fuck. Okay, if you're not interested in it, just be polite. We can talk, we can laugh, we can joke, but no, I don't play that game. Like, here's the thing. If we've talked multiple times and you're still trying to figure out if I want to have sex with you, chances are I do not want to have sex with you. If you're like, oh, if you're expressing interest in me, or, you're expressing interest in me for your wife, like, I'm a very direct person. So if you say, oh, my wife is very attracted to you, she'd like to play with you. If I don't say I would love to play with her, chances are I don't want to play with her. But there's a lot of couples who I've met who I enjoy talking to, I enjoy being around, but I'm not sexually interested. So, like, for me, like, once you give me the green light, and if I'm interested, I'm going to go over there. Even if I don't have time to play with her right now, I'm going to let her know, like, if it's not now, it's going to be eventually. If it's not at this event, it'll be at another event. There's no fucking confusion with me. None. Like, zero.
So let me ask you a question. If you're at Splash and, you see somebody, maybe it's your first or second time seeing them, and they do what you just said, nothing over the top. Like, I'm not talking about the women that are like groping your dick or something like that, but like you said, squeeze your bicep. If you're not into her, like if you already know, okay, I have no interest in playing with this woman, do you stop them like right there? Like, do you correct them?
No. I mean, like, the only ones who I have an issue is like I've had, like, I've been in events where a woman will come up and that I've seen her, but we've never talked, and just try to put her tongue in my mouth. It's like, hey, get the fuck off me. Like, I can't walk up to a random woman I've never spoken to and grab her by the face and try to tongue her down. I don't do that, but I've had women try to do that to me. Those, I'll be like, hey, wait. Let's slow down. I appreciate the compliment, but don't try to slob me down. We don't know each other like that. But if it's somebody who I enjoy talking to and they're flirting with me, I'm totally fine with you flirting with me. Like, I don't have a problem with, a woman who I like talking to flirting with me, grabbing my biceps, being complimentary, Like I'm totally fine with that. Now, this is where the female or the husband has to read the room. If it's not reciprocated, I'm perfectly fine with us still having conversations, still talking, still joking. You know, if your wife wanna, you know, grab my, you know, mild touching. We went to Trap recently, and we walk in, and there's a lady who, basically a woman who, you know, we talked to for about 5 seconds, and, you know, I walk out, she comes and gives me a hug, and she's holding on to me for dear fucking life. Like, I gave her a hug, and I tried to step back, but she won't let go, and now she's trying to kiss me in the face, and I'm saying to myself, you might have just taken your mouth off of a dick, and I don't even know you. Like, let's keep it sexy, you know, like, and she was an attractive woman. I would have wanted to play with her, but she's doing something to me that I could not do to her without permission, you know? So, I mean, had it not been for that, you know, I would have been okay with the hug. I would have given her 10 hugs, but like literally I'm trying to move back and she's, oh, where are you trying to go to? I'm trying to, I didn't say it out loud, but I'm thinking to myself, you know, I'm trying to get your hands the fuck off me. You're making it weird. Like, what are you doing? And I never gave her any indication that I wanted to play with her. There was no indication given there. There was just, we were like sitting next to each other at the bar talking. So okay, because you know I watch a lot. So when I say flirting, I don't necessarily mean you being like where it's coming from you. I'm just saying I've observed you in those situations where flirting is taking place. You know what I'm saying? And I can even remember, you know, saying to myself based on conversations that we've had where I'm like, I know he's not going to play with her. You know, but what I was I'm totally cool with somebody flirt, because flirting is a compliment. And
absolutely.
Flirting, if it's done respectfully, if it's done tastefully, that's fine. Because even if I approach a woman who I'm flirting with, I want it to be tasteful. You know, there's me flirting with her, as long as I'm not being offensive, I can call you attractive. Now, as a guy, I'm really weird about putting my hands on somebody without her giving me signals that she's okay with it. You know, I will flirt. You know, if I'm interested in someone, I will flirt with them. I'll tell them that, you know, I find them attractive, all those different things. But until I get some sort of a signal that it's okay for me to put my hands on her, I'm not going to touch her, you know. Right. And if it is a touch, it's in a very appropriate place. It may be a shoulder. It may be a hand during a handshake. It may be, you know, her elbow. But I'm not, you know,
or doing it Ray style. You squeeze her wrist.
Yeah, you know, close my eyes and check the bone structure. You know, you know. Once I started getting to places like the small of her back, or even, you know, my physical proximity to a person, you know, once she stepped into my personal space, and I accept her into my personal space. At that point, you know, that's where it gets a little different, you know. But
so, okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, what I was getting at when I was talking about the conversation that I was having with a friend of mine is we were talking about the difference between flirting and like, okay, I want to be with this person, or this person wants to be with me. And we were saying how it's gotten to the point where the flirting is cool, but we won't cross that line until she gives us a pretty obvious signal that she wants us to go there. In other words, not pushing the issue, because the way that the conversation came up is we were talking about guys that are thirsty. You know what I'm saying? And guys that are like trying to like hammer it home. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like almost putting like this constant pressure, you know, like almost trying to like force the situation to happen.
Yeah. Badger somebody into sex.
Yeah. As opposed to like we said earlier before we started recording, putting the idea out there that, hey, I'm interested, and then waiting for her to return your serve. You know what I'm saying? It's like they want to throw the ball up, hit it over the net, and then run, chase it, jump over the net. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And play on their side, as opposed to waiting for her to return the serve. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like I was having a conversation with another buddy about parties and explaining the purpose that parties serve. Like even in an event like Splash, like parties aren't just about who can I play with tonight. Parties are also about, okay, what can I set up for later? You know what I'm saying? Like being able to have a conversation with someone and, you know, pique each other's interest enough where it's like, hey, let's exchange information. Like we don't have to play tonight. This could be something that we can pick up another time, whether it's at another event or maybe we can plan something, you know, to get together. And it's like,
yeah, but I think a party is all things to all people. Some people come.
No, I'm talking about in terms of trying to get through to guys who carry themselves in that thirsty way. I mean, where it's like they come to a party and the focus is solely on who can I get tonight. And I'm not saying that nothing is going to jump off tonight, but I feel like if that's your only focus, you're missing out on a big portion of it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're judging your success at a party based off of how many wives did I play with tonight, I feel like you're not taking full advantage of what the opportunities that the party or the event is presenting to you. Like you said earlier during our conversation, there may be a wife that you may see at Splash, and maybe at that Splash, she's not feeling you for whatever reason. Like you said, maybe it's their first time, maybe they're trying to get comfortable, maybe her dance card is full, whatever, you know. But
no,
that doesn't mean she's not going to be feeling you at the next Splash or the Splash after that.
But see, I think you brought up two different things. So the first thing you brought up was the opportunities that a party presents. And the reason I said a party is all things to all people, I do agree with you. It's a different mindset when you think, okay, well, because let's be honest. Okay, if I'm going to a sex party, I want some sex. I'm not sugarcoating it. Okay. If I go to a sex party, I'm like, here's the thing. If I just want to hang out with you, me and you can hang out. If I just want to have sex with a couple, I'll go and see that couple. But if I go to a sex party, I want to fuck. Let's just be honest about it. That's what I'm going for. However, I think that a party does present more opportunities, but everything is based upon your state of mind. And we all know that a penis, your dick is like a fucking mind-altering drug. When your dick is hard, your dick is thinking. Your dick is thinking, I want to fuck. That's what your dick is thinking. So I do believe that, you know, some guys have the ability to walk into a party and see that they're, you know, they can play and they can try to set themselves up for next time. And then you also have to look at the mentality of the guys who are super pushy and super thirsty. At the end of the day, I have no desire in any way, shape, or form to have sex with a woman who I've pressured into having sex. To me, that to me is the opposite of dominance. if I have sex with someone, it's because they willingly submitted themselves to me. So if I have to force my will on a person to have sex with me, I think that is a weak man. So I can't even be turned on by the thought of pressuring someone into sex. So for me, my lack of outward thirstiness, because let's be honest, we're all fucking thirsty. We're all here and we're all thirsty for some ass, but it's how we show it. And as a guy, if I walk into a party and I'm pressuring someone into sex, now that's a different mindset. Your mind is not in the same place mine is. You know what I mean? Like that's, so when we're talking about the guys who are being super thirsty and trying to pressure people into having sex, you know, we have to address their mindset. Why would you want to have sex with a person who you have to pressure into it? And that's the thing. Mm-hmm. A lot of guys are like that. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of husbands who will try to pressure a guy into having sex with their wife. You know, you and I had a conversation a couple years ago, you know, and this was not about pressuring. It was a situation where we talked about, hey, you know, you're saying, hey, this particular female is really into you. I know you're not into her, but, you know, why don't you give it a shot? You know, and it's like, you know, the mindset of I think pressuring someone into having sex, I think that ruins it. So when you get these guys at the party, you know, if it's because they don't have the experience to read the room, I respect that. But there are a lot of guys who read the room and know that this girl's not into them, and they're going to try. We've all heard some dude go, oh yeah, she ain't trying to mess with me, but I'm going to get her. Why the fuck would I want to get her if she don't want to be got? I don't know. Like, to me, that doesn't even register in my brain.
Especially in an event like Splash, there's just so many. But I think what happens, and I've seen this happen on a smaller scale, you know, at parties, is guys will see somebody and she'll catch their eye, and it's almost like they become fixated on her. Mm-hmm. Like one of the rules I have at my parties that I try to tell guys, especially when I'm inviting new people, like there's certain types of behavior that I hate seeing, and I correct it whenever, you know, I get an opportunity to. But you know, at the party, when you're hosting, you can't. It's hard to have your eyes everywhere all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, you're constantly moving around. You know, especially when you know you still have more guests arriving, you try to stay kind of close to the front door. And what I hate, like one of the terms I use is puppy dog. And that is, you know, you talk to somebody, you shoot your shot, but then you continue to kind of like follow her around. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like she's talking to this guy or she's talking to this couple and you're close by. You know, she goes upstairs to play with somebody and you go upstairs, or you go into the room, or she's over there playing with somebody and it's almost like you're keeping your
being
eyes
fucking creepy. You're being creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kicking you out of my party. You gotta go.
The other thing that I hate seeing is, like I always say, a wife's first time making eye contact with you should not be when she's playing and you got your dick in her face. You know what I'm saying? Meaning you see somebody, but you don't take the initiative to go over there and talk to her or talk to them. Next man comes, puts in the work, makes her comfortable, turns her on, whatever. She goes upstairs to play, and then you follow, and now you're standing by the bed or within close proximity to the bed, thinking that, okay, this is my opportunity to jump in. You know, and you know, like you would ideally something like that would be common knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And no guy would do it.
No,
but I'm sorry, I've been doing this.
They
I've been
fucking
doing
do it.
this far too long to know that they do it. But don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about, hey, she's hot. Okay, she's going up to the play. Cool. I would love to watch her play. And you kind of post up in the corners. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not interfering with what they got going on. I'm talking about the guys that, even if they don't put a dick out, they're reaching out, they're touching their ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to involve themselves in the scene. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like.
Now, I think that the dude who's
person,
with the wife, like, that's another thing that annoys the fuck out of me. All right. If you're getting ready to play with her, I don't care if it's in the playroom, at a house party, at a sex club, at a hotel event. I don't care if you take her into the gangbang room. If you're the one if she's the one that's leading you, you're leading her in there, you should ask, hey, do you want other guys to join, or is it just going to be me and you? And if so, if you see somebody that you're interested, you wave them over. If you need me to make a move back, let me know. Because I've said it before. I hate when I'm in a group situation and I look to the left and somebody's dick is by my face. Now I'm like, dude, what? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Move. Like what are you doing? Like she has to be comfortable, so I don't want to ruin her good time. Now, here's the thing. There are plenty of women who are like, look, I want more guys to join. And if you're the one who she's going with, I think I'll ask, do you see any guys you want me to invite? Yeah, I like that guy over there. Guy. Okay, cool. Hey, you two guys, you want to come upstairs? Yeah. The other guys, nah, she good. She don't want anymore. Like, I'm not even, like, to me, the guy who's got her, because you get a lot of these guys, he's just thinking about getting a nut off. And now, like, how can you enjoy her if she's uncomfortable because she's worried about, some dude trying to stick his dick in her mouth that she don't want? Because bottom line, this shit comes down to attraction. And, even though she may want to get fucked by 5 guys, but it might be 4 guys in there who she's not attracted to. So no, she don't want those 4. So she'd rather just you. So to me, that responsibility goes back to that guy. And you're right. Like the puppy doggers or the guys that follow around, the fucking dudes that do the weird shit. Like those guys get kicked out of my party. Like, you get one time for me to pull you aside and go, dude, you're making it fucking weird. There's like 20 women here. Why are you following that one? Why are you following that one woman? Because let's be honest, we walk into a place, we do zero in on the one that we find attractive. I know for damn sure when I'm at Splash, I zero in on what I want. That doesn't mean I want to be a stalker. You know what I'm saying? That means that I made a mental note. I want to go and speak to this person. I want to go introduce myself to this person. I want to say hello. I want you to be aware that I'm interested in you. There's no pressure. I'm going to be here all week. If she, some people will tell you right then and there they're interested. Some people may catch you later on in the hallway. Hey, are you going to be available later? Cool. But that follow you around and, that creepy shit where, like, dude, you know how weird it is? How weird it is for me to play with somebody and then 3 dudes go, oh yeah, so you play with that so-and-so chick. I play with her in the room behind a closed door. How the fuck did you know, you weirdo? Like, I didn't tell you. And I know she didn't, like, oh yeah, I saw you downstairs with her, I want in on that. Can you help me out? No. Did you help me? Like, no. No. If a woman says, hey, I want you to help me find some good guys, I will, but I'm not just going to be like, hey, listen, my buddy, the creepy looking dude over there, he wants to fuck you. The fuck out of here. I'm not doing that.
And one thing that I want to make sure that we're clear on, because we both know that, there are a lot of guys that, that listen to both of our podcasts. And this kind of goes on the heels of the show you just did where you were talking about emotions. We don't do this to put guys down. Like we point out behaviors because we want Like we both want guys to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, if guys are not putting their best foot forward and couples are having bad experiences, then those couples are in danger of leaving the lifestyle. And we don't want that. Like, like we want them all to stay. So we want guys to be better. You know what I'm saying? We want couples to be better. And that's why we do this. Because like you said earlier, people don't see your fuck ups. That doesn't mean you haven't had them.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just trying to give people the benefit of, you know, learning from A, the mistakes that we've made, and B, the mistakes that we've seen other people make.
Mm-hmm.
So my hope is that the people who listen to this, the guys who listen to this, the couples who listen to this, if you're taking offense at any of the things that we're saying, ask yourself,
it's probably you.
Like, why? Exactly.
You're probably the one.
And you know, like, you know, correct that. Like, one of the things that you and I started talking about before we started recording, and I think this was the topic that actually led to you saying we're doing it again. But we were talking about when you learn, and it may sound elementary, but you know, you'd be surprised. Son of a bitch, it's snowing.
Yes.
Sorry.
No snow here, buddy.
Yeah,
actually, we got frost this morning, so.
Yeah, the whole city probably shut down. Fucking Atlanta. One plow in the whole damn city.
No shit.
But anyway, we were talking about the notion that you can let pussy walk by you. You know what I'm saying? And the power that comes with finally realizing that, like, the sun is still going to come up the next day. Like, you're going to be okay if you don't capitalize on every single situation that you feel is worth pursuing, because you got to have it. And it's interesting how women respond to you when they get the feeling from your energy that you're not pressed. You know what I'm saying? Not that you don't want it, but that you're not pressed.
Because the dudes that are pressed to give off a creepy fucking vibe. Like, it's just creepy. Like, dude, like, it's, you walk into an event and act like it's the first time you've ever seen vagina. Now, here's the thing. If you walk into an event and you're like, I've never had pussy before, I'm sure there'll be a lot of women who will be excited to break your virginity. But realistically, you're right. Like, to me, I've never understood the concept of not being able to walk away. Like you walk up to some woman like you're a crack fiend. Oh, I need your pussy right now. I know I don't know you. I've never seen you before, but I really need you because my dick's hard. Get the fuck out of here. That's just creepy. You know, being able to, you know, to me, it just makes a person uncomfortable. It's just an uncomfortable sensation to have somebody treat you, act as if they're going to die without your sex. You know, don't get me wrong. We all want the compliment of feeling desired. You know, we all enjoy feeling desired. But it's another thing when someone is, you know, like you said, you know, they act like they can't walk away. You know, like the most annoying, one of the most frustrating things to me was, you know, for a couple, the lady was annoyed because I didn't play with her. I wanted to play with her. You know, I'm busy at the event. So she, you know, comes up to me while I'm literally, I'm talking into my microphone, into my walkie-talkie. So she walks up and she stands in front of me with her hands on her hips and she's like staring at me. And I'm like, hold on a second. What's wrong? Well, you know, I'm waiting to play with you. Well, Well, I'm busy right now. Well, I came to this event for you. No, you didn't. You didn't come here for me.
I don't need that kind of pressure.
No, here's the thing. You didn't spend all of this money to come to this event for my dick, okay? Let's not pretend my dick is that good. You've never had it. It might be trash, number one. Number two, if you wanted to see me, you could have flown to Atlanta and spent a whole lot less money and played with me. But no, you're acting like, and on top of that, the day before when we first talked, she wanted to play, she's like, I tell everybody, I'm working this event. So if we establish that we want to play and I come and say, hey, do you have time? It's because that's when I have a window of opportunity, and so at the time she's like, oh, I'm going to go have some drinks and hang out at the bar for a little bit. Okay, cool. So clearly you didn't come to this event just for me. And then after that, I was completely turned off. And I mean, to this day, I have not and I will not play with that person. And fellas do shit like that all the fucking time to women. All the time.
What, I came here just for you thing?
No, that energy, that, trying to make it seem like, you're pressing somebody for sex, you're trying all of these things and now you're looking desperate. And you're pressuring me. I don't want pressure for sex. Don't get me wrong. Like, if we've talked about, if we've established that we want to play, when we're passing through the hallway, yeah, I am happy to let you know, yes, I do want to play, as soon as I get a window of opportunity. Like, I love the flirting and the touching in between time until we have the opportunity. But for somebody to walk up to you and like be dead serious, rude and offended, like, that's the thing. And I have talked to some couples and some women I've talked to many couples and women over the years who've expressed how dudes have made them uncomfortable, whether it be the grabbing, hey, come here. What do you mean, hey, come here? Take your fucking hands off of her. You grab by the arm, hey, come here. I really need my dick sucked. Like, and I'm not making this up. This the stuff that happens. End of the night, at in the hotel elevator, you're the last one up. So, oh yeah, I've been trying to fuck you all day. You haven't been trying to fuck her all day. She's just the only person you see. You think she can't feel that stupid ass energy? Knock it off.
I mean, it's definitely something really interesting to kind of sit back and and observe and see the way that everybody moves and interacts and, especially at smaller parties, because it's, you see people more, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like at Splash, you see somebody and you might not see them till tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? But when it's a party in your house or at a house, it's a lot easier to kind of see somebody throughout the night. Mm-hmm. I mean, whether it's seeing a guy and it's like, damn, why is he hovering around her like that? You know what I'm saying? Like every time I see her, I see him close by, or maybe it's a couple and it's like, like, why aren't they engaging with anybody? Like, why are they keeping to themselves? And as a host, I try to go over and engage them and, because I want everybody to have a good time, especially if I know that it's like their first event, or especially if it's their first time coming to an event like mine, because what I get is, I get a number of couples who they've never really been to like a hot wife themed event before. Mm. Like they're used to going to like couples types events, and maybe there will be like a few single guys there, but when it's like their first time coming to like an event that's like built around couples that are specifically interested in single men, you can almost see the gears turning. Like they're trying to figure out, okay, how does this work? And so I try to do things to to help them get more comfortable. Sometimes if I know like one of my really, really, really good guys is there, like I almost look at them like therapy dogs, how like they got that perfect energy. You know what I'm saying? Like the guys, that, he's not going to make the hard sell. If they just want to talk and get comfortable, he's fine doing that. You know what I'm saying? He's a great conversationalist, great sense of humor. Like I'll introduce them because I know even if it's just conversation, he's going to be a good experience or for them, because at the end of the day, you want everybody who leaves your party to be leaving with a good experience, whether she doesn't play or plays one time or plays 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I know me, I kind of take that personally, and maybe I shouldn't as a host, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if one person leaves having not had a good time, I want to know why. In other words, was it something that you did? Was it something about the energy that you brought to a party? Or was it the way that somebody treated you? Like, I want to find out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like as a host yourself, like how do you handle all that? How do you deal with that?
So when we host house parties, we have a process. I have a conversation with everyone who's coming. We have a phone conversation first, just to make sure that this is going to be the party for you. I let them know what they can expect to see. I mean, especially when we're doing like, hot wife parties. All right, when we do a ladies' choice party, because we do the ladies' choice, house party, but then, we do the content party, which is also ladies' choice. But, ladies' choice house party is just an interracial party, bunch of attractive black men to play with, hot wives or cuckold couples. And the first thing I do is every single guy I have a conversation with, break down the rules, expectations, all of those different things. Every single couple, I do the same thing. I explain to them what's going to happen, what's going on. I also, at my parties, we make sure that we, 80% of the people who are there are people who've been to our parties, because we want people who've never been to come in and see what's happening. Because, if you walk into a party where everybody's standing on the wall, you're not going to jump in because you're going to be oddball. But if you walk into the party and everybody's fucking, and this is what you came for, and you came to play, and you came, for fun, it's going to be easier to join the group that's doing it. All the guys who come are aware that they have a dual responsibility. If you see somebody who's on the wall that's nervous, if I'm not there, if you're not playing, you can just, speak to them, let them know what our party is about. It's kind of like when I'm at Splash. If I see a couple sitting off on the sidelines, even if it's not a couple that I want to play with, I'll walk up to them, I'll speak to them, ask them if they're comfortable, ask them, is there anything that I can do? Would you like me to introduce you to someone? You have any questions? But generally, I fielded all the questions before they come. And, me being me, my thing when it comes to parties, in most parties, people go and say, well, I don't want to go to a party if there's not an expectation of play. I tell people, don't come to my party if you don't have an expectation of play. Now, if you get here and you don't play, you're not obligated to play. But if you've already told yourself, oh, well, we're probably not going to play, then don't come to the party. Because, you met my wife and all of her friends. Those ladies are coming in. They're taking what they want. They're having a great time. There's no judgment. There's no guilt for, if she fucks, the average woman who comes to the party is fucking, 8 to 20 guys in the night. So, these women aren't judging one another. And so that being said, you know, we make sure that whoever's coming for the first time, they know what they're getting into. And the good thing about it is, you know, if it's your first time coming, I've had that conversation with you. It's kind of like getting on a roller coaster. You're watching the line, you know, you're terrified. You know, when you're in the line, you're terrified when you get strapped in. But the whole time you're anticipating doing it. You didn't stand in the line for an hour and a half not to hop on the roller coaster and ride it. And that's what it is when you come to one of our parties. People are anticipating it. And we just try to make sure that the roller coaster ride is all they hope for. And then when they get off, they're like, holy shit, that was crazy. That was wild. I'll be back to the next one. But that's all communication up front.
So let me ask you something to touch on something that you just said, and this is for the benefit of couples who may be listening, who maybe haven't been to a party before. When you were talking about the expectation of playing, I know for me, I've had couples who are coming who, you know, my party may be their first party of this type, and they may be worried that there's going to be this expectation on them to play. Mm-hmm. Like they're worried about.
Well, we have a different party for that. We have a different type of party for that.
So how would you explain, for the benefit of the people listening? I know what you're saying, but I'm saying for the benefit of people listening who maybe might not, how would you explain the difference between people coming with an expectation to play versus a couple being concerned about people having an expectation on them to play? So those are two separate things.
Yeah, and those are two separate parties for us. You know, when we do parties that are more of, okay, it's going to be social / play, because they're all social, but when we invite a bunch of new people, or we invite people who we know don't necessarily like to play, that's a different party, because you're inviting people who don't necessarily have the expectation. But when we're inviting a group of people who are anticipating playing, you know, there's people who reached out to us and said, you know, hey, you know, why didn't you invite us to the party? And I said, because you guys don't really play like that, you know, but we'll be happy to watch. Now, here's my problem with you watching. You walk into a party at my house, you and your wife stand on the wall, you get your shit off, but you're not bringing anything to the party. The people who are playing while you just stand on the wall, you're not providing them anything. They're providing you a show. They're not here to provide you a show. So at certain parties, those parties are for people who anticipate playing. Now, don't get me wrong. There's been plenty of times where people who we know who are usually down to fuck and interested in playing, they come to a party and, you know, maybe something happens where well, I'm not going to say plenty of time, because there has been plenty of time. We've had one party where, you know, a lady unfortunately started her, you know, her cycle. She was rolling the dice that it would start the next day, and it happened. Right. So that didn't work out. And then we had a party where basically and she did play. She got a little too drunk to play. But that is really why we vet people for that type of party. When you come to this party, are you interested in playing? You know, do you just want to watch? Okay, if you just want to watch, we have a different party for that. But at the party where it's like, hey, because the ladies run the party, so, you know, you got 12 women here and you got 20 something guys here, and you got, you know, if you have 11 of these women who are fucking like machines, and then you got one stand against the wall that every time a guy walks up, oh no thanks, we're not playing. Oh no thanks, we're not playing. Oh, so now you've got to, no, you know, that's for us. And I know it may sound a little fucked up, but the people who come to a party where they know they can come in, and then for the people who are a little because there are people who come to our parties who are reluctant because they're worried about what people think of them. To have one person stand on the wall, they don't know if that person is judging them. She doesn't know if that woman is thinking that she's a slut, which she's probably just thinking, I wish I could jump in there. But the person who was reluctant to come to the party because they want to make sure they weren't judged, no, you're coming here because everybody's doing exactly what you wanted to do, and you feel like you're amongst like-minded individuals. It's not a spectator sport at certain parties.
No, that's what's up. Because like I said, I know that, again, newer couples, I know that that's something that they're usually concerned about. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to make sure that we were clear as far as getting them to understand the difference between coming with an expectation of not playing. Because I'm like, I agree with you in that sense. Like, why would you come if you're already saying that you're not going to play? Mm-hmm. I mean, because that means nobody's got a shot. I know that's almost like coming with a negative attitude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
you're not offering nothing. So you and your spouse, you guys are going to come in, get all the visual excitement that you want. Go home and watch a fucking porno. Like, why are these people aren't here to put on a show for you? I mean, you're not bringing anything. What are you bringing to this group? And I know it may sound fucked up, but if you come to a potluck without bringing anything, people are going to be offended. You're coming to a sex party. You got your hot wife standing against the wall. All of these guys are looking at her like meat. But no, we're not playing. But we're going to sit here and make out and touch each other and go home and fuck looking at all the things that happen. No, you brought nothing to this event. And that's just, like I said, we do different types of parties. We do have parties where people can come and watch. But like certain parties, no, this is not for rookies. And if you're new and you call me and say, hey, so-and-so referred me, we've never been to a party like this before, but, we want to get in, we want to have a good time, we want to play, absolutely, I'll still invite those people. And here's the thing, if they don't play, it's not like I'm going to kick them out. But if they don't play, there's a good chance that I'm not going to invite them back to that particular type of party.
Right.
Which, once again, that's never happened. That's in that environment when the women take over and they're encouraging each other and they're like, hey girl, you need to come and play with this guy. When in that environment, I've the shyest women who you ever seen are going to be the first one to suck dick in that environment. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's always the shy ones, man. You know what they say is it's always the shy ones that we got to look out for. How long have we been recording?
58 minutes.
Oh damn! This time always goes so fast, man.
Always.
Because unfortunately, I got stuff to tend to around the house, and we both know that if we don't say nothing, we'll be talking for freaking hours.
Yeah, listen, I was just looking at the time. I gotta go and grab some to eat and then go do some work myself. So
I hope people appreciate this kind of behind the curtain look at, like, this is what we do. Like, this is how me and Mr. Booker spend a lot of our conversations. Is one of us will bring up something and we'll wind up talking. And usually it's after the conversation, like, damn, that would have made a dope ass episode.
Mm-hmm. 1,000 times.
Or we'll say it in the middle, but neither one of us will be in a position to actually go and start recording it. So it was dope that, you had the wherewithal to kind of pause it and be like, hey, we're doing it again.
Yeah.
That thing we always talk about, we're doing it right now. So this is what it is. This is what we do. This is how we talk to each other. This is the shit that we talk about, because I'm always learning from him. I like to think that he's learning from me at least sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We challenge each other. As you can hear, we don't always agree on everything, but that's cool.
And we don't try to. I mean, that's the beauty of it. We bounce things back and forth.
Exactly. Neither one of us are trying to change the other. And that's one of the reasons why I'm proud to call you my brother. You know what I'm saying? Because you make me better. And I know pretty much anytime we get together, I always wax poetic about all y'all. But that's because I mean it, man. And I want to make sure that you know it.
Yeah, man, listen, there's no question, and it's appreciated. And like you said, you know, we constantly pick up things from one another, you know, and I think that's how you sharpen yourselves, you know. And there's plenty of times when, you know, whether it's in person, you know, and, you know, we don't always agree, you know, but, you know, we always come together and make the shit work, you know. Listen, there's been times where Mike has offended me, and there's been times I've offended him. I had to come up to my boy at the end of the event and be like, hey man, I made an error. And, you know, him and I talked it out, and he was like, okay, I appreciate you coming to talk to me. You know, so, you know, I appreciate you give me an opportunity to come and clean up my mess, you know.